My name's Luke. I'm what you might call a private investigator. When people want to know about something special, they call me in. I guess you're wondering what I'm doing here in Galilee. My client, Theophilus, called me up the other day. "What's up, Theo?" I said. He said he wanted me to look into this guy, Jesus. Let him know if he was on the up and up. You know what I mean? Well, I could see why he was interested. There were lots of stories making the rounds. "But Theo," I said, "you want me to go into the back roads of the Roman Empire? A guy could get killed around there." Well, when Theo wants something, he gets it. Good clients are hard to find. Anyway, I saddled up the old donkey and went looking for clues. They took me to Nazareth, the kind of place no one ever admits to coming from. This young girl is engaged to be married, and suddenly there's a bun in the oven. No surprises there. This was back in the old days, King Herod's time. The story is there were angels involved. One of them, Gabe by name, tells this young girl, Mary, that she's going to have God's kid. Imagine. This kid is supposed to rule as a king over the house of Jacob. He's Jewish, obviously. I guess no one told the angels that the Romans kind of run the show around here. The angel gives the kid all sorts of titles. Son of the Most High, Son of God. The girl's fiancé buys her story and says he'll marry her anyway. Who am I to judge? Before the baby's born, they leave town for an extended trip to Bethlehem. Some people say it was the census that made them travel. Tax problems, maybe. The family's got no money. In fact, the kid is born in a stable. Yet those angels turn up again, and they scare the shepherds out in the fields. They tell the shepherds he's been born. Shepherds. Why tell those guys? It's not like they're important people. They just walk off their jobs and go to check the baby out. Irresponsible. Not only that, but some rich bigwigs from the East mosey on over to bring him some expensive gifts. Born in a stable, and yet he gets all this attention and gifts. Something doesn't jive. How can you be a nobody and a somebody at the same time? Anyway, the family is so poor that they can pay only 2 pigeons to the temple when the kid gets named. And the name they give him, Jesus. It means God saves or something like that. Would you do that to a kid? This old temple priest says he can die happy now he's seen the kid. And some old prophetess runs around praising him. He's just a baby. What's all the fuss? But they must think there's something special about him. So he grows up in the little village of Nazareth. And there's nothing to report. Seems like he kept his head down and stayed undercover most of the time. Sure, he gets lost in the Jerusalem temple when he's on a family vacation, and he impresses the wise guys there. But nobody knows what else he got up to. They say he was well liked. I asked them what he looked like. Just an ordinary sort of guy, they said. Nothing special. He gets to be about 30 and he goes through some religious ceremony with a traveling preacher down by the river. They say a bird landed on him and God spoke out of the sky. God says, "This is my son." So I guess the angel knew his stuff. I checked his family tree, and it goes back a long, long way, right back to Adam. For over a month, he disappears in the desert. No food, no water, nothing. He meets someone there who tries to get him to show off and prove he is the Son of God. Make yourself some food, they say. Throw yourself off the temple and get those angels to catch you. Seize power and forget about listening to God. But he just quotes scripture and ignores them. Then he kind of takes off as a traveling preacher. People who hear him say he's really spirited and has the gift of the gab. He starts telling them he's a prophet, and some of the old prophecies are about him. That really gets on their wick, and the crowd tries to kick him out, but he escapes right under their noses. Now it starts to get weird. He has this ability to heal people when they're sick. He even talks to demons that they say live inside them. And he orders the demons to leave. And you know, the demons, sometimes they talk back to him. People try to pin him down and get him to stay around, but he tells them he has to travel, and he has to hang out with lots of people and tell them all about God. Sometimes he even does secret good deeds, and he asks people not to blow the whistle on him. But he takes off to some quiet place every so often. Says he's talking to God there. Pretty soon, he has his own gang of followers who travel around with him. They're nobodies too. Fishermen and such, drifters, the kind of people who would even work on the Sabbath day. He hangs out with a loose crowd, tax collectors, people who walk a little close to the line. There's even this one time when he forgives someone for something they did to someone else. It doesn't look good to the religious guys. They don't buy that one. But people like to hear him tell stories. Everywhere he goes, they pester him till he reels one off. Odd stories, too. Some of them don't even seem to have a point. Eventually, he leaves this area and moves on. He travels across the lake in a grungy old fishing boat, and halfway over there's a terrible storm. It doesn't look good, but it doesn't faze him. He's sleeping. His guys wake him up in a panic. They say he just speaks to the wind and the waves, and the storm dies down. This is no ordinary guy. He goes on to do a lot more astonishing things. First across the lake, and then down in the Jerusalem area. That's where I'm off to now. I can't wait to see what he gets up to there. You know, I started out investigating this guy for Theo, but now I'm just so darn interested. I'm gonna have to find out more for myself. You never know. I might just end up believing in him.